We're back on Cricbuzz, chatting with Adam Collins and Michael Vaughan. Day one of the Manchester Test match between England and the West Indies. A gloomy day, a long day, a day where England eventually took the ascendancy thanks to a fantastic partnership between Dom Sibley and Ben Stokes. And a day of Test cricket that, Vaughan, you said before, was a proper day of cricket. And we'll come to all of that. First, though, when you woke up this morning and saw your phone and saw the statement from the ECB that none other than Jofra Archer would be out of the Test match for breaking the COVID bubble, what did you think then? And what do you think now, 12 hours later, with the benefit of a chance to see a day of Test cricket?
Well, it didn't actually surprise me when you think of what the ECB is asking of both sets of players to be locked in a cricket ground. Then they're asking the England team to travel from Southampton up to Manchester. It didn't surprise me that one player's kind of gone a little bit AWOL, broken the bio bubble, put the kind of series at risk. If he brings the virus into the bio bubble, it's a real problem area. Jofra's just had one of those moments that's a little bit selfish. He's probably felt on Monday a little bit low. England have lost the Test match, and he's just wanting to go home and see probably one of his loved ones. We're not quite sure why he went home, but I'm guessing that's the case. Should he be thrown under the bus for it? Absolutely not. He's a young player that's made a mistake. It's a mistake in this unprecedented times that, I don't think we can really question what the players are going through mentally, having to live at cricket venues, looking at cricket grounds pretty much for 3 or 4 weeks. That's all they've got. There's not really a great deal for them to do. So, I'm not going to be too critical of him. I'd say that, there's a huge sacrifice that the West Indies team made. They came over here on June the 8th. They left the Caribbean and entered a COVID hot zone here in the UK to get this series on. So it's the West Indies that I look at, and Jofra should really look at them and apologise. But also a lot of his own teammates have got kids and families back home, and I'm sure you look at someone like Jimmy Anderson. He lives 2 minutes from Old Trafford. He's got 2 daughters. I'm sure he would have loved to nip home, but these are the kind of sacrifices that you have to make in a team circle, in a team culture. He's broken those. As I said, I hope he's not thrown under the bus. I fear for him. For 5 days he's going to be in the hotel behind us on his own. No one can go and visit him. It's so important that we look after Jofra Archer, the person, over the next few days, because it's not going to be easy. He's probably reading everything on social media. I hope he doesn't, but I'm sure he will be. As I said, he'll be back playing for England. Whether it's in the third test, I very much doubt it, but I'm sure it will be for the Pakistan series in August.
Yeah, well said. The cricket itself, the West Indies inserted England after England last week had a lot of debate around a decision at the toss via Ben Stokes. On this occasion, Jason Holder made that big call to bowl first, and in the end, it's backfired. If you insert a side and you've only got 3 down at the end of the day, in a day where they did lose 8 overs, albeit, it is a day where you've effectively messed up.
Yeah, you have, and I'm sure Jason Holder's in his room now thinking exactly that. He went for it because it worked in Southampton a few days ago, but when you're in back-to-back games and using the same bowlers that bowled just a few days ago, it's a tall order for them to come out again and charge in. England were going to bowl as well, so it's been a good toss for Joe Root to have lost. I thought the batsmen just set out and played in a very sensible fashion. It was clear for me watching that the England side had been given the direction of just hanging in there, dig in. It's not old Test match cricket, it's real Test match cricket. This is the way you play Test match cricket, on a slow wicket with a little bit of nibble. There's clouds around. You just try not to give the opposition any cheap wickets. And in Dom Sibley, it's a throwback to Chris Tavares, the boycotts of this world back in the 80s. We're celebrating an opening batsman for England that just digs in and hangs around there. Is it pretty? Not always, but is it effective? Absolutely. So Dom Sibley and Ben Stokes is just in tremendous form. How he didn't go on and get the big score down in Southampton, I'll never know, but he looks well set here to go on and get 3 figures, as does Dom Sibley. They've put the foundation in place for England to go and get that big first innings score.
Yeah, they've already put on 126, and as we had in the Cricbuzz live blog today, in terms of time batted, it's the longest 4th wicket partnership for England since 2012. So it gives a sense of sometimes there's been some brittleness in the England middle order, but from Sibley's perspective, I mean, he just goes from strength to strength in terms of occupying the crease. What more could you ask for in an opener?
Well, that's what you want. You want an opening batsman to, really value his wicket dearly. He does that. Know his method. He knows that. He's got one way of playing. He just likes to get over to that off stump and work it on the onside. He makes the bowlers come to him. In time, will he have to add 1 or 2 more tricks to his game? Possibly. I think he might have to, particularly through that offside. He might have to just open up 1 or 2 shots on that side of the ground. But so far so good from an England perspective. You go 1-0 down, there's the drama of Jofra Archer, and then you finish day one 200 for 3 with a partnership that's played with so much solid nature, everything that you require in test match level, and you don't lose many test matches finishing day one 206 for 3 with the likes of Butler, Ollie Pope, Dom Best, Sam Curran, Chris Wokes and Stuart Broad to come. England have put themselves in a very strong position.
Yeah, Sibley's already faced in excess of 250 balls, Stokes in excess of 150 balls, so they've really done the hard yards this afternoon. But there was a stage where there was a wobble, Vaughanie, and it happened either side of an interval, and Joe Root fell just after the drinks break later. Something about Roston Chase early on. I mean, Chase has some curse over the English batsman. What is it about this otherwise innocuous spinner who seems to find a way to penetrate of these English batsmen?
Eventually going to realise that he doesn't spin it. He's taken him a while. He's clever, but he changes his pace. I think to the left-handers, you can see what he tries to do. He tries to fire it in and hit that front pad. He did that to Rory Burns. Zach Crawley, again, he'll learn from that. I do think the West Indies weren't quite on it. If you actually look at the fielding, they looked a little bit flat. Clearly the bowlers were struggling from the first test match in Southampton. I thought they were too kind as well. I thought they bowled too much like they required to bowl in Southampton, where they were pitching it up. I don't think it was that kind of wicket, particularly mid-afternoon. I thought the bouncers should have been used more effectively. I don't remember Dom Sibley having to duck one ball all day, which is remarkable when you're an opening batsman facing the West Indies and he's not had to duck one ball all day. So, yeah, I thought the West Indies were too kind. I thought they weren't quite on it, and they've given England a great chance of getting this massive first innings score.
Vaughanie, let's go into the hot spot. Vaughanie, in the hot spot, let's stick on that theme of the West Indies bowling and the fact that they went in with an unchanged lineup. Shannon Gabriel, he battled today from the outset, didn't really have his run-up down pat, sprayed them everywhere. Looked like he was battling with a hamstring injury at one stage in the field. But the decision to go all in and bowl first with the same 11, it's hard yakka on those fast bowlers.
Yeah, that was a big risk, but you can understand it. I mean, it's been damp here in Manchester the last couple of days, and it was overhead. There was a little bit of drizzle in the air. We had a delayed start, so you can kind of get it from Jason Holder's perspective, but you could clearly see after an hour or so that the West Indies were just struggling in their legs. When you get a delivery described as the Harmison delivery in a day's play, you know your radar's not quite right, and everyone knows what the Harmison delivery is. It just goes straight to second slip without bouncing. Yeah, they had an off day, but understandably, I think we've got to be respectful for both teams that, they've not had great preparation. They're here playing Test match cricket. They're trying their best, and if for every 2 or 3 hours you see a little bit of a lack of intensity or not quite as sharp as maybe we would have seen, I think we've got to understand that. It's not easy for the players.
Pressing fast forward tomorrow, so much of it comes down to the two all-rounders, doesn't it? Ben Stokes, we've already mentioned, but Jason Holder, the captain. Last week, Vaughanie, he said that he loved the battle on that Saturday afternoon, hanging in there for hour after hour when England were batting in the second innings. It's much the same tomorrow, really, isn't it? It's all about resilience for the captain.
Yeah, he's going to have to find something overnight, the West Indies captain, to try and dislodge this partnership, particularly his counterpart in Ben Stokes. Ben Stokes' bat just looks wide. It looks like a barn door. It just doesn't look like it's going to get beaten. And he looked well set today to go on tomorrow to get the big score. I thought the last 40 minutes of play told you that Ben Stokes wants a big score, because he went back into his defence and thought, I'm going to be there tomorrow. I want to be not out overnight. Two wonderful all-rounders. One's had the upper hand over the other. I thought Holder was the best bowler of the attack today. I thought he bowled beautifully without any luck at all. He's going to have one of those spells in the morning, as is Shannon Gabriel and Kemar Roach and Alzari Joseph, to really get the West Indies back in this Test match. If they get it right and they get a couple of quick ones, they could quite easily still restrict England to something like 300, which would be around probably a little bit under par. You're looking at 350 on this kind of deck being a par score, but the West Indies have still got a chance, but they'll have to take all the chances tomorrow morning.
As you said, Vaughanie, a proper day of Test cricket at Old Trafford. Thanks for joining Cricbuzz Chatter. We'll be back tomorrow.